hello. I know it's been a while since I posted my last video because I kind of had to skip chapter 3 because I was really busy, and so I decided to just start working on chapter 4. So, here are my videos on chapter 4. Now, chapter 4 is basically just like China and what's been happening in China during everything, like during like imperialism and like you know, World War I and what was going on through other countries. This is what China was doing. So let's get on. Now I've been drawing China as this little cat this whole time, right? But China right now is currently very divided. If you look at this map right here, don't worry about this guy yet. Oops. If you look at this map right here, which is obviously a very good map of China, you'll see the little lines I have splitting them, like in between. That's because China right now is split by a lot of like provinces. And if you guys remember last videos or what happened before in international history, China was very weak, okay? China was very. Oops. Oops. China was very like, it was easily taken over, and that's because of their non-strong government. That's because in each one of these provinces, like each one of these, there was actually a lot. They were won by warlords, which were just basically like army generals that had such a big army they could have their own land, and so it wasn't very um it wasn't very unified. So no one was happy with each other. So there ended up being a lot of political parties and a lot of fighting and a lot of trying to unify China that didn't work because people were greedy. Anyways, so this little kitty right here, his name is Sun Yat-sen, okay? Sun Yat-sen is the founder of the Kuomintang, the KMT, okay? The Kuomintang is, I'm explaining right now. So the Kuomintang was this political party because, okay, so Sun Yat-sen was a very big, he explored the western side because there was an internet, so you couldn't post about other sides of the world during this time. So he had to literally explore other western countries such as like Britain and France and USA and stuff. And he went and he found out their ways of government. He was like, wow, this would be perfect to implement in China so that we can have our own nice little government and not a bunch of, because like most of their people were all deeply impoverished. Okay, there was like a bunch of people that worked very hard and didn't get that much money, and people barely lived, and blah, 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 and China's full of a bunch of people. Anyways, so China was very cooked. And so to find a solution for this, he was like, let's copy what the Western people are doing. So his first thing was nationalism, which is just like having pride in your country, right? So increased nationalism increases the people that want to like actually support a government and be happy with their life in China. And democracy, well, democracy is, being able to vote for your government, basically. And social and economic reform is just, yeah, he just wanted to change the country. He wanted to change the economy, make everyone a little bit more equal, and socially, like, not have as many impoverished, poor, sad people. And so this guy is not Sun Yat-sen, not Chiang Kai-shek. Oops. To Yuan Shikai, I'm sorry, he does not stay with us for long. Um, I'm sorry, this is like my handwriting on like a keyboard, like trackpad, whatever. Anyway, so Yuan Shikai is a warlord who doesn't very much like Sun Yat-sen's rise to power. Um, and he was like the warlord in general of the Manchu dynasty, and well, he died pretty quick, but we just have to know him because he very much goes against Sun. I already talked about that slide. Now let's talk about Chiang Kai-shek. So one thing, so the Kuomintang didn't have much support. So there was this thing called the May 4th movement, which was a basically really big rebellion caused by like scholars, so like people in college. Uh Pretty big boycott and pretty big parade and stuff. Um which during this time was they were like, "Oh, guys, communism is good. Let's be communist." And so they're like, okay. And so the CCP Chinese Communist Party was started, and they were like, let's join the KMT. Now there wasn't that many people in the KMT yet, but the KMT, while it did have different views, the KMT was more let's go for democracy. The CCP was more let's go for communism. Um, two different things. They still decided to unite, and it overall increased the KMT's like popularity, right? And also later they get support from Russia, but that's a later issue. Not issue, that's just a later thing. Now, eventually Sun dies, and so we need people to run the KMT. And so actually no, they get their support from Russia right now. I'm sorry, that does not happen later. So they get support they get support from the Soviet Union, like money wise, and so they have this like army that they're able to produce, the Red Army, and so the leader of that Red Army when Sun Yat Sen was still alive is Chiang Kai Shek. So when Sun Yat Sen dies, Chiang Kai Shek named himself the leader of the KMT, and he doesn't like the communists, but we learn all about that in chapter 4.2. So come back next video, I'll continue talking about this. I know this video wasn't that long, but 4.1 is a very small chapter. Sorry. Bye bye.